exposure to Hirsch was and said, you know, there's this guy out on the ridge up around Pasadena who has some fruit. I was thinking about going to get some, and Steve was, or Bert was, or anyway, we kind of all chatted, the three of us, together. We were in a tasting group at that time, many years ago, and decided to come out and have a look, and sort of divided up the existing parcels that weren't under contract to KJ, is that right? It was Kendall Jackson at the time, so David had some stuff that was being liberated from KJ's clutches, and so we sort of divided up the parcels, and we said, oh, I'll take half of that one, and I'll take half of that one, whatever, and that's how that split happened. And at that time, going back to the question of what's special about the place, it's because of the property itself, it's big. It's not big in terms of vineyard acreage, but it's big in terms of geography, right? And so I've always sort of felt that there are Hirsch VIneyards plural because of the difference of soil type, exposure, and elevation, and all those types of things. The other thing that was a real voyage, I think, for David and I and Steve at the time, and Bert perhaps, was sort of the whole discussion of, well, how do you farm up here? You know, how do you, it's such a roller coaster in terms of the climate, the spring issues, the rainfall totals. It's a little bit of a head scratcher. And so, I mean, standing here today and thinking back on it, David, I mean, it's a lot of miles traveled, right? It's a lot of things learned, and some things learned 2 times or 3 times in terms of, well, how do you farm this to some kind of manageable yield and consistent quality. And I'm sure there's generations yet to go on that. But in addition to that, my exposure to the area, like why was this area of interest, was actually before that. It was in 1993, I think it was, when Flowers was just getting started. And Helen and John, who owned Marquesan down the road, asked me to come out and look at an adjacent parcel to purchase. And I remember standing up here with them, and it was a really windy spring day, and the parcel we were looking at was very exposed to the west. And I think that my first sense from that very first visit remains true today, that it's not a line, it can be extreme, and it can be quite a challenge from year to year to figure out the path through this maze. It's not a continental climate, right? Burgundy is a continental climate. I think you can even make arguments that the Willamette Valley has more aspects of a continental climate, like the Red Hills of Dundee, than this does. So it's a very peculiar and unusual place to grow quinoa, in my book. And I think today, and I'm not sure, if we were standing here in maybe what was a more difficult vintage, Aaron, I'm not sure that we would see as consistent fruit tones as I'm picking up today. So I see a lot of raspberry, a lot of purity of fruit, not Russian River fruit bomb fruit, but maybe a little bit more in the savory or green raspberry. I mean, there's a lively note in a lot of the wines that I think speaks to the place and the kind of wines that it wants to produce. And I think, again, thanks to David for the group of buyers, because this is not the image of California. I mean, everybody here pretty much makes their own wine and does their own work. There's no big people here, and we're not the Napa Valley, and we don't think that way. So part of the message that we would love you to get across to your clients is, yeah, there is another world in California, and hopefully this will trip.